In this lesson, I want to discuss a technique that sets goal setting on autopilot. We've already talked about the inevitability thinking strategy, which makes reaching goals inevitable. But now I want to cover one more high-leverage concept that can help you attain your goals faster and much easier. It is a skill of installing success habits. When we've talked about goal setting, we identified two types of actions: one-time actions and repeated actions. Usually, any goal requires both. We rarely experience any difficulties following through with one-time actions. Usually, we get them done when we are still inspired and motivated by our goal. But when it comes to something that we need to do day in and day out, something we have to focus on daily, that's where we often struggle and lose track. In some ways, it is a paradox because we humans are creatures of habit. Almost everything we do is habitual. Once we do something enough times, our brain puts that action on autopilot so that we don't have to think about doing it anymore. But installing new success habits is not easy. In fact, we usually underestimate an amount of effort it takes to install a new habit. The development of any new behavioral habit requires us to defy gravity. Like the gravitational pull of the Earth, we are pulled toward our existing habits. Even when we're aware of bad habits that are hindering our ability to function at full capacity, we have troubles breaking free from them. As you probably have heard, it takes us roughly 30 days to develop a new habit. These 30 days can be broken down into 3 phases, 10 days each, and here's what it looks like. The first phase is called defying gravity. This is the most difficult time of the entire process, because a person must defy gravity in order to get beyond the first 10 days. A part of you is going to actively defy staying focused on the task. The first day or two you might be fairly motivated to do it, but after a few days your mind, body and emotions are going to start saying no to your new habit. The second phase can be described as active resistance. Even though a person has escaped gravitational pull of old habits and routines, he or she will still encounter active resistance in attempting to follow through with the new habit. The person's mind and body still default to the old ways of doing things, so it's important for us to stay focused on getting through this phase, one day at a time. During the third phase, which is called acclimation, the person finally starts to become acclimated to the new habit. In other words, during this period of time, he or she will start getting used to and adapt to the new habit. After acclimation is complete, the person is naturally drawn to the newly developed habit. If you know this and expect resistance to happen, it's much easier for you to develop a new habit. Being aware of how things work and being prepared for some gravity issues will help you to install powerful success habits and reach even the most ambitious goals. Now let's take a look at 4 major obstacles that can sabotage your efforts. Obstacle number 1: developing several habits at once. Now we know that developing new habits is a hard work, so it makes no sense to make it even more challenging by trying to integrate several habits at once. Focus on just one habit that will bring the highest leverage and spend 30 days integrating it into your daily routine, and only then move to the next one. Obstacle number 2: commit too much time. Even if you decide on one habit, we have the tendency to overdo it in the beginning. Your brain and your muscle memory have to become accustomed to a brand new behavior at a slow and steady pace. If you want to begin a new habit like running, writing, meditating, or anything that will ultimately require from 30 to 90 minutes or more, don't start at the optimum time commitment. Start with the least amount of time that's easy to manage, like 5 minutes, and slowly work up to more time. Obstacle number 3: no accountability. Most of us don't tell people when we start a new habit because we don't want them to know if we fail at it. We keep it quiet just in case. Remember the inevitability thinking. Ask yourself, how can I inevitably develop this habit? Find an accountability partner or a mentor and set up some consequences for not following through. Obstacle number 4: strong attachment to the results. If we focus on the end result, we become too attached to it. Think of how many times have you waited yourself in the beginning when you wanted to lose weight. If you constantly check your progress and don't notice any visible improvement after a couple of days, you become demotivated. Your mind starts to come up with excuses and logical reasons why your new habit is never going to work. Don't measure your progress for the entire period of 30 days that it takes to install a new habit. So, if your goal is to lose weight and your new habit is to start your morning with a bowl of fruits instead of croissants, stay away from the scale. Once 30 days come to an end, you will be pleasantly surprised. Now decide on a success habit that you want to develop in the next 30 days. Choose one habit that will give you the most leverage and bring you much closer to your goal. And don't forget to write it down in your journal.